Hi, I'm Debbie Flickinger, affiliate faculty at Union in the interdisciplinary doctoral program in the Humanities and Culture concentration. I'm honored to be here with you today at the One Just World Coffee Chat to remember George Floyd Jr., an African-American man. Who was George Floyd? He was born on October 14th, 1973, in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and grew up in Houston, Texas. He served time in a Houston prison as a young man and then moved north in 2014 to get a fresh start. By 2019, he worked as a security guard at a club with an off-duty police officer named Derek Chauvin. George Floyd died on May 25th, 2020, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Mr. Floyd was killed by that same off-duty police officer, Derek Chauvin, who held him down with his knee on his neck for 9.5 minutes, while Mr. Floyd kept calling out that he couldn't breathe and for his mama. This was all because he was suspect of allegedly attempting to pass a counterfeit bill at a local market. The clerk behind the counter said that in hindsight, he wished he hadn't done anything, that he hadn't called the police. It is thanks to a 16-year-old at the time, Darnella Frazier, who had the courage to pull out her cell phone and post the video on Facebook. This served as evidence in the trial that found Chauvin guilty of murder and sentenced in June 2021 to 22 years and 6 months in prison. It was one of the longest sentences ever imposed on a U.S. police officer in the killing of a Black person. Chauvin was sentenced to 25 years by the federal justice system. George Floyd was a rapper and a hip-hop gospel singer. He had his own group called Big Floyd. He recorded Block Party, the album, in 2000 on the presidential players. Floyd, over the years, became a kind and compassionate man who believed that everyone should have the chance to live in freedom. Unfortunately, his own freedom ended when he was murdered on May 25th, 2020. We honor George Floyd today to remind people that this horrible crime is not unique. The injustice against Black people and all people of color goes on, not only by the police, but by individuals who commit hate crimes, most recently in the Kingsley neighborhood of Buffalo, New York, and in Laguna Woods, California. How can I answer how I feel? Every day something happens. I wonder if it's safe to leave home. I wonder whether my daughter and her family will be safe. It's very hard to hold on to hope, but I have to keep going for the sake of my children and my grandchildren and their children. COVID had an impact on my response to Floyd's death. I was consumed by grief and anger. I felt the pain of his family and his community. People were out there protesting, but I was unable to go out and join them. Today, we honor George Floyd and his life, his grandparents, his parents, his siblings, his uncle, and his daughter. We honor all those who have lost their precious lives to hate crimes in the struggle for freedom. I want to thank you for tuning in today. In closing, I want to offer up these thoughts so that we keep moving forward in a caring and positive direction. Listen to the stories of others. Listen to our hearts. Expand our own awareness. And finally, remember that life is destiny. Join me again for a coffee chat about Juneteenth. Bye for now.